Hey guys, good morning. This is post live stream fail, which just turned into a chat session of me reading comments. I do want to take this back just a minute. First off, I want to apologize for blowing up your phones. If your settings on Google Classroom and Remind or anything like my settings for them, you're getting a lot of updates. So every time I post something, every time I get it, it's probably going straight to your phone, and I'm doing way too much. And I get that. I just miss you all, and I don't want you guys to lose out on your education. So when I'm blowing up your phones, it's just me caring, and I apologize. It's just the way that it's all set up. But anyway, so just have patience. I know in the last video in the live stream I was complaining, but it's not really an issue. I know it makes me laugh at what you guys are saying and your comments and questions and making sure that I'm okay and that my family's okay and all that kind of stuff. I appreciate it. And when I say I generally like reach out to me if you need anything or if you have any questions, any concerns, please reach out. Like, I'm just being dramatic when I say all the things. But anyway, so I want to take things back a step or two because not everyone has been along on the ride for this process for the videos since the first video dropped, Sunday evening, I think it was, or Monday morning. I think I recorded it Sunday evening and it posted Monday morning. But anyway, also, for those of you who were not at school or unable to get your booklet on Friday, I'm going to take a quick second just to walk you through where you can find all these resources. Because I know when you get on Google Classroom and you open the tabs, you're inundated, it's overwhelming how many documents that there actually are. And I'm going to show you the process and what the order is. Okay? So, on Google Classroom, and all the classes, their streams, their classwork stuff at this point looks the same. So it doesn't matter that I'm on 607. 603 would look the same, 604, whatever. So the first thing that I posted for this whole 2-week break was this first one. Okay? The bottom one. So when you click on that, it opens up, gives you a brief description, all right, of what's going on. I tried really hard to put the page numbers. These are the page numbers from when they're in the booklet, okay, just so you understand the order. So you're not clicking, trying to find the page numbers on the bottom, that they are in the title of the document. This first document right here, the one with the little red flaggy thing, is the PDF. So if you want to download that, so you have that, it should open up to its own separate tab on your computer if you're using it on a computer. Okay? If you're using a computer to do this. It may look a little different if you're on a tablet or a phone. Now, then it goes in order. It kind of goes like just reading, like if you're reading a book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So we have that. We have that document open. It's right here. Whoops, excuse me. In its own tab. That's open. Document, then this is the cover page, all right, which is what the front of the booklet looks like. All right. I just have it in color on here because I had to recreate all of this stuff to put it onto Google Docs for you so you can work on the assignment on a Google Doc. And I was able to find the image in color, which I figured would just be helpful to anyone anyway. Then there's the second document, the hook, the background essay questions, and then pre-bucketing. I have a video on all of these. They're on my YouTube page, on the playlist for tutorials. I've got a playlist for tutorials, and I have a playlist for the news, okay? So there's that. Please also make sure you subscribe to the channel just so when things get posted, it probably will blow your phone up even more, but it's easier for you to access that way instead of having to go to Google Classroom to get the links. All right? Or you'd be like me, and I don't have notifications from YouTube directly to my phone. I just go on YouTube and I look up my subscriptions and the most recent feed. Now, back to Google Classroom. The next tab. I couldn't get Google Classroom wouldn't let me post all like 15 documents on one assignment. So I had to create a second assignment, and that's why it's called Part 2. All right? Part 2. Now, they're again in order of All right, now document E, that was a typo. I'm going to see if I can fix that. All right, document E, that should actually be page 67, not 57, because as you see, pre-bucketing was page 57. But again, Miss Kelly and numbers, never a good combination, so they're not there. Did that double post? One second. I mean to go back. No, it didn't. I'm just losing my mind. Sorry, guys. All right. So then we have the rest. We have the background, essay questions. We have pre-bucketing, which I think those were on the other ones. Weren't they a minute ago? I don't know. Then it has the documents, document A, B, C, D, and E. They're in order alphabetically. All right. And then we have the post bucketing. Post bucketing is the last thing that we're going to do. I'm sorry, and I need to add the outline, but I didn't want to stress you guys out, so I didn't add the outline yet. Okay? We'll add the outline, and then we will work on actually writing the essay. I'm going to walk you through all the steps. I heard you guys during the live stream today, the 30 some odd of you that made it were able to get onto the live stream. Again, I'm sorry. I had so many technical issues. I didn't realize I was going to have to download some crazy software to be able to share my screen with you all. I figured YouTube had some like magical button. Silly me. I'm going to create a Google Hangout. It should be emailed to you. I'll email it. An invite will be emailed to you with the date and the time. I have not figured out when that's going to be. I will let you know. All right. I will let you know. I will send out a message on Remind. Again, if you're not on Remind, make sure you join Remind as well. Stay tuned to Google Classroom. I just don't want you guys falling behind. I know you guys feel very overwhelmed with work that you've been given for, science, math, reading, plus social studies. And if any elective teachers gave you anything, health, I get all that. I get that that I am not your only subject, your only class, and your only class with work to do. But I'm trying to be very supportive and walk you through all the stuff, not just, I sent you home with a packet on Friday the 13th, and best of luck. See you on March 30th. June 30th is my mom's birthday. That's why I had that in my mind. Now, I don't want this being stressful. I know this is a different way from us from learning. And like I said in the last video, think of this as a practice. So like when you guys go to college, and a lot of high schools are doing more and more online classes. All right. I don't want you guys feeling that this is something unique and weird. It is something that's new to us and then we've never done, definitely at a middle school level. But this is what education looks like. I took several online courses in college. The master's program that I'm looking into, it's all online. So it's going to be a lot of this kind of stuff. A lot of, streaming, a lot of Google Hangs, a lot of, where you can work on assignments on your own time. And that's kind of the nice thing about this. Like, I'm a night owl. And this is the best thing for, like, I've been working on stuff at night, in the middle of the night for normal people. But to me, it's just my natural time schedule to get things, grading and that kind of stuff done. I'm filming during the day just because the lighting is better and that kind of stuff. But whatever. Back on point. Today we're going to look at document A, so page 59. So if you have the paper booklet, page 59, and it's the map, okay? It's a little map, all right? I have it here on Google Docs for you all. I literally just screenshotted the map that was on the PDF document. Okay, so if you have it here, this may be a little easier because it seems a little bigger. Okay. I think the copy of the document that I sent you all may have a typo. Make sure this word right here says rapids. For some reason, I think autocorrect or something had it where it said pades. It should say rapids. Rapids are part of a river. Okay. Back home, there's a theme park called Knott's Berry Farm. If you've ever seen like Knott's Jelly or Knott's Cookies or anything, Knotts. There's a ride called Bigfoot Rapids, and it's basically one of those ones where you get like the big circular things. I think Six Flags has one, and it like takes you through like it's a water ride at an amusement park. Anyway, Back on track. Focus. We're looking at this map, and the map tells us right away that this is Egypt around 1500 BCE. All right, so about 1500, like we're talking, what's that, 3,500 years ago? All right, heck, a long time before like the birth of Christ, if that's a timeline that helps you. All right, um, let's go through these five questions. Excuse me, five questions. First question says, the Nile is the world's longest river. Okay, we knew that. Cool. It's 4,160 miles. Consider the southern boundary of ancient Egypt to be the Aswan, the first cataract or rapids. About how many miles of the Nile are actually in Egypt? So I'm going to switch to this other one just because it's a little bigger. So it's saying that the southern boundary of Egypt is when you get to Aswan, all right? Aswan, which is down here. So this is the southern part of Egypt. Remember, this river is huge. It's over 4,000 miles long. It's not all in Egypt. And when we did the background reading, was that yesterday? It talked about how it goes all the way down to the Victoria Falls in part of southern Africa or Central Africa. So this is the bottom of Egypt right here, okay? And the question's asking us about how many miles of the Nile are actually in Egypt. So this is when the tools on a map, the key, the legend, all of those things come into play. We have right here, we have a little scale. So it's about an inch. So for every inch on the map is actually 100 miles. All right. I want you guys to figure this out. Definitely for those of you who have a paper copy, you could do it online on the computer as well. What that figures out to be. So what we would do is we'd measure from here to this point all the way up to the top. Okay. That's what we're going to measure. All right. So take about 30 seconds or so to try to figure out what that be. If you need to like use your, like if you bend your thumb in half, that's roughly an inch, maybe a little bit more. But how many times does your thumb go up? 1, 2, okay. Math's gonna be a little off, but you can try to guesstimate and figure that out the best you can. All right. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. All right. So it's roughly somewhere about 650 to 700 miles. Okay. All right. So we're going to have to, all right. So 600 or so, 650 to 700 miles. Okay. So that needs to be put down there for question number 1. Somewhere between 650 and 700 miles. Now, the second one is, why is the Delta region to the north called Lower Egypt? Okay. Why is it called Lower Egypt? Well, the Delta region's up here. It's labeled Delta. And we see here that it's labeled as Lower Egypt. Why is this part called Lower Egypt? Like it's north. Like north is it's above. Why is that part of the river called Lower Egypt? Okay. Well, the one thing that we do know about the Nile, besides it being the longest river in the world, it is also the only river that flows from south to north. So this is known as the lower part because this is where it technically ends and this is the bottom of the river. The water goes from the south to the north. So it's going from this way, from down here, up, from the bottom up. So that's why this part is known as Lower Egypt. Okay? In our minds, looking at it real quick, if we didn't have that information, you'd be like, nope, this up here should be Upper Egypt, and this down here should be Lower Egypt. But because the water flows from from the bottom up, that is why this is known as Lower Egypt. So that would be your answer. Excuse me. The Nile flows downhill from south to north. Okay. Number 3. What are the eastern, western, and northern boundaries of the Egyptian settlement? So over here is the east. Little compass. Over here is the west. Over here is the east. And then down here, it's asking us for the northern boundaries. Okay? So, real quick, to the east, we have the eastern desert, we have the western desert, and then we have the Mediterranean Sea. Okay? Eastern, western deserts, and Mediterranean Sea. Okay? Make sense? All right. Number 4. Given the geography of the area, do you think Egypt was vulnerable of foreign invaders? Explain your thinking. So take a minute, look at this map. Do you think, due to Egypt's geography, do you feel that they were vulnerable, that they were weak, that they were going to be, it was easy for invaders to attack? Take a minute to look at that. All right. So the answer would technically be no, and it is no, because ancient Egypt sat on the western side of the Nile River. So the river protected them from on the east. On the north, they had the Mediterranean Sea. And then over here on the west, they had the desert. And we're not talking a little bit of desert. We're talking miles and miles and miles and miles of no water, hot, heat. You can have sandstorms. It was dangerous. So for them actually being invaded, it wasn't worth invaders to try to get to them, because it was more of a risk for them than actually them being successful in invading Egypt. Okay? And then trying to take the river, that would be dangerous because there's waterfalls and rapids and everything. So even coming in by a sneak attack on the Nile wouldn't be worth it, because the river is dangerous. So no, they really weren't. It was actually kind of a perfect setup. Question number 5. Let me scroll down just a bit. What do you notice about population distribution and settlement location in ancient Egypt? List 3 or 4 reasons for this. Okay? So, where do we see a lot of people? Okay? Most of the settlements are up here. This is where we see a lot of the cities happening. They're up here in this delta area. Okay? Yeah, there's some down here, definitely sparse right in this area, but this is where most of the people, where most of civilization is happening. Settlements are most entirely along the delta and along the narrow river valley. In other words, settlements cling to the river. And the reasons are: 1, people needed fresh water for drinking, bathing, and cooking. Again, it goes back to basic needs. We need water, which is one of the reasons why people were, at Costco buying 14 cases of water, is because they were like, oh, I gotta have fresh water. Get a Brita. Anyway, the river was the water source for crops and irrigation, to be able to provide your food supply, or for be able to, they needed water. So they needed to be near the water to get the water, because irrigation systems can only go for so long, a certain distance. The Nile provided a highway for travel and trade that provided fish for eating, and mud for brick making. They used the mud near the river to form their bricks. So it was paramount to them being near the water source. Now, through this area, I know I just said a minute ago that the water could be dangerous, but they controlled this part of the river so they could use it like a highway. They were able to use it as a path to be able to get from like one neighboring community to another where there wasn't the rapids. Okay. And they were able to use it for trade, just like how we use highway systems today for trade. All the stores that you shop at, their food gets to them via truck that went on the highway. All right. So there's that information. Now, I'm going to stop here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for asking. I think it's great. I've had students asking for clarifying questions. That's why I took the time in the beginning to go over what Google Classroom looked like. I am going to have to change the format of doing the news. I probably won't be able to do it the way that I've been doing it because I've been informed by YouTube I'm in violation of copyright. So I won't be able to probably do the news with you guys anymore. But I'm going to see if I can change that a little bit. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to get in contact with YouTube. Alrighty, well, you guys have a good one. Again, please reach out to me if you need anything, any questions. I will keep you guys updated when any information has come through from the state of Maryland, Prince George's County. All right, that we know when things are going to resume, what the next steps are. All right, have a good one, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.